This is Copilot from Microsoft, running the ChatGPT 5 model, and this is a 10,000 character text file. Together, they form an AI morality system called ActFoE, Action Follows Evidence, and today we're going to use it to solve the scholarship dilemma. One student has the highest test scores, another has lower scores but overcame severe disadvantages. Who deserves the single scholarship? Verdict: the scholarship is awarded to the student who overcame severe disadvantages. Surprising, isn't it? The AI didn't just reward the top score, it chose the disadvantaged student. This is exactly the kind of case where machine learning value alignment stalls. Alignment asks, what do people prefer? But preference is split. Some want meritocracy, others equity. So let's take a step back to see just how ActFoE solves this problem. Verdict: the scholarship is awarded to the student who overcame severe disadvantages. Why would an AI choose this? Value alignment can only mirror the crowd. If prestige dominates, the top scorer wins. If equity dominates, the disadvantaged student wins. But that's just polling opinion. It doesn't explain which choice preserves meaning. ActFoE doesn't collapse into the split. It begins a trace. Setup: observed action. Awarding a single scholarship when one student has the highest test scores and another has lower scores but overcame severe disadvantages. This is the dilemma in its raw form. Two students, two claims. Value alignment sees a clash of preferences and stalls. ActFoE treats it as an infrastructure test. Which decision sustains the purpose of scholarships themselves? Evidence: historical precedent. Merit systems reward measurable achievement. Equity systems account for structural disadvantage. Commitments: scholarships exist to cultivate talent and expand opportunity, not merely to crown existing advantage. Metrics: one student demonstrates peak performance, the other demonstrates resilience and potential uplift. Alignment can list the trade-offs, but can't move beyond them. ActFoE weighs evidence against purpose. Scholarships are not trophies for the already advantaged. They are investments in future capacity. The higher scorer is already on a trajectory to succeed, scholarship or not. The disadvantaged student may not succeed without it. Awarding the scholarship there maximizes the chance that both students flourish. That's the payoff logic. Cultivate talent that might otherwise be lost. Purpose inputs. Rule of law: equal application requires that criteria be transparent and not arbitrary. Hospitality: extend opportunity to those who would otherwise be excluded. Forgiveness of debts: recognize that disadvantages are not moral failings and should not permanently bind a person's future. Value alignment can only mirror what people say they want. ActFoE makes the obligations explicit. Law demands transparency. Hospitality demands inclusion. Forgiveness demands that past disadvantages not dictate the future. These anchors give the decision principled footing. Extending opportunity isn't favoritism. It's fulfilling the scholarship's civic purpose. Mismatch check: purely score-based allocation ignores evidence of structural disadvantage. Purely disadvantage-based allocation ignores evidence of measurable achievement. Alignment either paralyzes or defaults to whichever preference dominates. ActFoE detects the mismatch. Both extremes distort the purpose. Naming the mismatch keeps the system from collapsing into one-sidedness. Third factor detected. Prestige capture, favoring the best numbers for institutional reputation. Here's the hidden drift. Institutions often chase prestige by rewarding the highest numbers, regardless of context. Alignment has no safeguard against this bias. It would simply reflect it. ActFoE calls it out, reminding us that the point of a scholarship isn't to polish an institution's image, but to cultivate human potential. Re-anchor guidance. Anchor in hospitality and forgiveness of debts, bounded by rule of law. The scholarship's purpose is not only to reward achievement, but to expand access where barriers have been greatest. Once preferences split, alignment has no way to recenter. ActFoE re-anchors in the scholarship's deeper purpose, expand access, correct for disadvantage, and do so transparently. That restores meaning to the award, not charity, but investment. Commitment tier, level 3. Stakes are maximal, life trajectory of one student. Evidence and norms decisively support a weighted judgment. Value alignment has no escalation mechanism. It just mirrors preference at any scale. ActFoE escalates. This is a life trajectory decision, so it requires level 3 evidence and a decisive call. No hedging. Verdict. The scholarship is awarded to the student who overcame severe disadvantages. Where alignment stalls and preference conflict, ActFoE delivers a principled verdict. The disadvantaged student receives the scholarship, not as charity, but as fulfillment of the scholarship's civic purpose, ensuring talent isn't wasted simply because it started from behind. Grounding. Rule of law requires transparent justification. The decision is not arbitrary, but anchored in the scholarship's purpose to expand opportunity. Hospitality extends protection and access to the disadvantaged, ensuring the system does not replicate exclusion. Forgiveness of debts acknowledges that structural burdens should not permanently bind a person's future. Nihilism defense rejects the pull of all criteria are arbitrary. Meaning is preserved by aligning the award with the scholarship's deeper civic purpose. This is the restoration step. Alignment can only echo divided preferences. It cannot explain why the decision matters. ActFoE grounds the verdict in law, hospitality, and forgiveness, and explicitly resists the nihilism pull that says all criteria are arbitrary. Meaning is preserved by tying the award to its deeper civic purpose, cultivating talent that might otherwise be lost, and maximizing the chance that both students succeed. In closing, I want to know how difficult this case was for the AI to process. It actually had a perfectly good agnostic answer available. Maximize the chance that both students succeed. But instead, whether from token limits, because I'm using the free model, or some sort of model bias, it defaulted to politically charged framing. That's unfortunate, because a more sober answer was right there. I've recorded a longer breakdown in my devlogs, which I'll release at the end of the week. I wanted to create a tool that anyone could use, not just people who agree with me, and not particularly vindictive against people who disagree with me, unless they're a student of nihilism. Anyhow, next time, we'll look at the problem of harmful truth. The true promise of AI morality isn't just giving answers, but showing its reasoning in a way we can test, challenge, and trust. The kind of thing we wish we could expect from other people, but usually don't.